Hey, everybody, welcome in back to a new year, 2022. New year, new episodes of the Fuzed Relativity podcast. It's been a long couple weeks that we've had off for the holidays, but we're very excited to be back at it and bringing you some new podcasts for the new year. John, how are you doing?
The vacation tried to kill me in multiple ways.
John was stricken. He was stricken with COVID on Christmas. So
yeah, which let me just tell you, it is like fate was. I don't know, but the fact that our Christmas wasn't actually held on Christmas this year for the first time in 37 years is amazing because I felt completely fine Christmas morning. It wasn't until that night that I started feeling junky, and then the next morning was just downhill.
So you got COVID on Christmas. That sounds like a country song, first of all. And second of all, like, I know when you're bad, Santa brings you coal, but how horrible were you if he brings you... Can I just throw that out there?
That's not even the worst part of it. Like, the amount of things that happened, like, we had our Christmas on Christmas Eve because my wife works overnight, and she had to work that night and Christmas night. So we were like, we'll just do it Christmas Eve since we'll both be home. We have the day, whatever. So we open presents, and then we're getting food ready because we're like, we'll cook and have everything. I don't remember what I was doing, but I was walking into the kitchen, and a knife fell out of my hand as I was walking. And you know how you have that kind of like slow motion of stuff heading towards your feet and you're trying to get away from it? That did not happen so much. It hit the top of my foot, sharp side down, and then I managed to kick it into a box of broth that was just sitting in our pantry floor.
The knife stabbed the broth?
Yes. Like,
did it leak out?
Oh yeah, no. We had to toss that after we fixed up my foot because it hit right on top of the well, it's a metatarsal, but right above the big toe, kind of like right on top of that bone, right behind it.
So it didn't break your skin, but it broke.
Oh no! It broke the skin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my foot was bruised for a week. I don't know why, because it was just a little cut on the top of my foot. But, yeah, it was... and then I had the misfortune of, I was like, okay, and I was going to take a quick nap. My cat likes to hog my side of the bed, so I pushed it off. And it decided it didn't want to go and did the Simba thing, and... Not Simba. The other lion. And clawed into my hand. And refused to let go as he slowly slid off the side of my bed onto clothes.
And somebody was telling me, because I was playing with the cat and it kind of scratched me a little bit. Somebody was trying to tell me like cat claws or cat bites like are germy or can lead to disease and sickness.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if he was paranoid. Is this? I imagine they walk in litter or something, so they got
cat scratch fever is a real thing.
It's not just a Ted Nugent song. It's
no.
Legit. Okay.
So I'm just, from this whole story, I'm gleaming that you are, of all people, ready for 2021 to be over.
Yeah, no, that was, my wife was like, we're starting 2022 on this. I'm like, no. We're all going to be fine by 2022. This is all, 2021 decided to end in the worst way possible. And it did, because we lost I don't know if you've seen some of the memes around it, but... there was a thing that was like, if 2022 turns out great, Betty White died for her sins.
Well, that's messed up. R.I.P. Betty White. What can we say?
Oh, but yeah, that's like the most wholesome person in Hollywood, and it was weeks before.
She was around for decades. I mean, since I think the 50s or even before. I mean, maybe even before, but yeah, just forever.
Weeks before her 100th birthday.
I was going to say the worst part is she didn't make it quite to 100.
Do you think you really care at a certain point? You're just sore. I'm
Well,
Just bored. You're like, all right.
I mean, I don't want to go too much into it, but we have a certain family member that's said the same thing for the last 7 years now?
At least, yeah.
Well, yeah, like if you're 99 and a half, what do you, if I can make it to 100, I'm going to start bungee jumping. Like probably not.
No.
Well, I'm uber curious of year of the tutu over here.
Well, yeah.
Do
Do you have a guess? It's
I was
the year
thinking
of the
Toto.
Oh, 22, but tutu. I gotcha. All
there you
right.
go, 2022. 2022. So it's the year of the tutu. So every podcast this year, we're going to be wearing tutus for the whole podcast. And if fans send in a picture of them wearing a tutu, we'll show it on the podcast. So only for the year of the tutu, though.
Way to throw that out there, Kirk.
Got a walrus costume, but I just realized
Close.
I'm collecting a wardrobe of animal-themed costumes for some reason.
Sounds about right. It doesn't surprise me.
Okay, well, and for 2020, do you guys have your 2022 masks yet? Because the 2021s are outdated and they don't work anymore. So, little known fact.
All right, I'm banking on super immunity now.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, can I have a little mini? Can I get a little mini rant off? Because I did not stab myself or get COVID, but my phone is pissing me off. So it's
first mini rant of 2022. Let's hear it, Kirk.
And it's a mini. Okay, so just my phone. I have the app where it tells you the weather, and like it just like it'll say it's 32 degrees, and then it scrolls down and add this new feature where it says, but it feels like it's 26, and then underneath it added the wind makes it feel colder. That's what my phone actually says, and it's just like, oh, is that what wind does? You know what? I'm in my 40s and I never quite figured it out. So thank you, advanced piece of technology, for telling me that unique weather phenomenon of wind. Appreciate that.
See, I just like the way my phone does weather, because if it starts snowing or raining, my background display just shows snow or rain. It's so fun. I knew it was snowing Wednesday night.
It keeps you from looking out the window. Because you could look outside, or you could look at your phone to figure it out.
And we made it 9 minutes into the first podcast of the new year before a Pale John reference.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, is that a pail? I wasn't even going for a pail.
Oh, well, you said he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Just no. I'm mocking the technology. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you could turn your head to the left and look out a window, or you could look at your phone. You could hear it when it's raining. Come on.
In defense, not when I'm working, because I'm in a lead-lined, concrete-filled rooms.
You work in a bunker.
Yes.
You work in a bunker. You're working on a manifesto.
In fairness to Kirk, John, he might see the sun if he looks out the window, and we know how that goes.
It burns.
But no, like that. It's helpful when I'm at work, because I don't. There's obviously windows in hospitals, but where I work, I don't. Especially at night, just looking down the hallway out a window, you're not going to see much unless it's like blaring at the window. But I just happened to look at my phone and noticed that it was, the snow layer was on it, and I was like, and I went and looked, and sure enough, it was snowing. I don't know.
Well, I got my eyes on the prize for January 15th. That's a big day for me. So I'm already looking ahead to the new year, January 15th. Come on. Job might not be so crappy after that day. So just hoping.
I'll bet you $5 it will still be crappy.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not taking that bet. If I was a betting man, I'd say no, Kirk.
So what you're saying is after January 15th, the female impersonator business really mellows out.
It mellows out. It mellows out, Kirk. It becomes a lot less stressful.
Oh, just by the way, kudos for the fly still being here in the new year. That's
I had to move them too.
You had to move the flies?
Oh, because you and Chris have switched places.
I did notice that.
See, and look at that. And the flies followed you. That should tell you something.
Well, look, see, now we could ring in the new year with all these flies, just like we wanted to.
Yes.
That thought kind of ran out of steam. Yeah,
A little bit.
All right. So
It was supposed to. All right. So I think now that we've gotten through the pleasantries and figured out that John had COVID and Kirk doesn't like his weather on his phone, let's jump into some
I want
relativity talk.
Yes, and I want to start off just because it's at the beginning with 3D printing, because we haven't talked about 3D printing in a long time.
Yeah, we're going old school.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. So what I wanted to bring up, and something that I didn't know was even a thing, is in Cura. I think it's Cura. Cura and the Prusa Slicer, which is based off Slicer. There's a new feature, Chris. Do you know what that new feature is?
Not a clue.
Waffle fries.
I don't remember what it is in Cura, but in Prusa Slicer, they have an adaptive infill now.
Oh, I did read about that.
So, and that's what infill has been one of the things that has annoyed me about 3D printing for a while. And to refresh your memory, Kirk, when you're printing something, especially something big, when you're printing it, you don't want the inside to necessarily be hollow. It can be mostly hollow, but you want something for things to build off of and all of that.
Or it would collapse in on itself. If it's just air, it would just smush.
Not so much because it's still a hard plastic. It's just you would lose a little bit of integrity. And when you're trying to finish off like the top, like if you were doing the top of the thing was completely flat and you were trying to print with nothing above it, it might concave down and it wouldn't be as nice and uniform and flat.
Okay, so you got to fill in the it's not just air. You put a little caulking or something.
Well, it's just like a little bit of structure, like a honeycomb almost. So I was watching a TikTok and they were like, he was talking about how there's now this infill that kind of adjusts itself to a whatever, and he's like, and it's something like the adaptive infill that you would see on the Prusa Slicer. And I immediately had to look at it, and sure enough, if you pick this adaptive infill, what it does is where you're close to the edges, the infill is going to be tighter. So the best way I can describe it is it's triangles. So the triangles are going to get smaller towards the edges of the object when it's printing. And in the middle where there's like nothing, it's just going to be big triangles that are slowly closing in on each other, on itself. And then as it continues to print, like you'll see the big triangles, and it just saves a ton of filament. The print that I have right now loaded up, and I have it at 20% infill, would take 19 or 18 and a half hours with the adaptive infill. And if I were to switch and do just the regular infill at 20%, it would take 21 hours. So not only is it saving 3 hours, I should have looked at the amount of filament itself, but I can tell that with the adaptive infill, it would have cost me $12, and without it, it's costing me $15.
So the show 24 has nothing to do about this, though. That was different, right? Was that Kiefer Sutherland? It wasn't 21 hours to do a 3D printer?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
So thoughts, Chris?
Well, I mean, it's kind of nice, that we're progressing to the point where they can, on the fly, the program will tell you what your infill should look like rather than just having a single pattern that is maybe not necessarily doing the best efficient path for what it's building. So, I mean, I'm on board. I like it. I'll have to check it out in my Cura Slicer.
I'll have to, because I just looked up supportive, because I only had looked at adaptive, and being the smart person that I am, the supportive one is even less. It uses $10 worth of filament and prints in 17 hours. So that is, the fact that there's now adaptive infills with 3D printing is remarkable because it's going to save a lot of filament and plastic on things that you need the infill for. You just don't want to use it.
So would you say this is like one of the big new things? Because I imagine they're always tweaking 3D printers and they're always new stuff. So would there be like kind of 3 or 4 big kind of inventions or new things for this year, and like this would be one of them?
I mean, I would classify this for last year, but yeah. The other one that you brought that up, and I immediately thought of, was there is a desktop SLS metal printer now.
So like Slayer.
But I think I had wanted to bring it up on a podcast, and we just never, because it was such a small little thing that we were talking about, I never got around to it. But yeah, there's a company that's trying to put out a desktop SLS printer. It just uses laser and metal powder to print metal parts.
Also cool, but just something else that I don't need on my desk, and I don't want to learn how to use it.
Yeah, it'd be functionally the same. But yeah, they're still pretty pricey. I think the one I was looking at was like $1,000.
So would the filament would be like a metal as well?
No, so you would have like, I don't know if it's aluminum or if it's steel or whatever, but there's a powder that gets put over, and then there's a laser that shines down, and it kind of welds the powder to the layer below it. And then, the machine scrapes over a fresh new layer of powder, and then it welds that and keeps building. So it's still the layer style, but it's using powder and lasers to make the print.
I'm picturing Laser Floyd now because you said lasers. So I'm picturing that's kind of like, all right, lasers doing stuff and music in the background. Have you guys ever seen one of those laser shows, by the way? Like at the planetarium kind of thing?
I don't think so.
Well, I was going to say yes, but the one I saw was the big Christmas one.
Oh, Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
Yes.
That's a full style Vegas. That's a big old whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Seen, flames shooting out everywhere.
See,
strings flying in. It's insane.
I saw it in 2003 or 4, possibly 4. And ever since then, the tickets have just gotten worse and worse, and the sellout has gotten like, you have to buy the tickets like immediately or they're gone.
Right. Well, the music is good. I will give it that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is it's a lot of sound. It's not just like, a rock
Christmas
and roll
carols.
band.
Yeah.
Lots of different instruments, lots of noise, lots of great singers and musicians. So if you can see it, I'd recommend it. It's worth checking out at least once.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I had for 3D printing. Chris, I think we're going to space now.
Well, let's talk a little about. So, I didn't really hint at solar too much as to what I was talking about because I wanted to get kind of a blind reaction from you rather than a lead in.
Which is why it's the solar disconnection.
Yes.
My title was way worse.
Yes, you've been quite coy about what we're talking about. So you've been swimming in a pond.
I have literally just not said anything, so you guys have no idea what we're talking about.
Right.
But,
so let us in. What are we talking about?
Here's the thing. So we had this conversation going the other day between me and a couple coworkers, and I found it intriguing. So I wanted to run it by you. Run it by you guys on the podcast. I says, solar energy. We all know that people are putting solar panels on their houses now. Mm-hmm. And as we've discussed in the past, Tesla's even using their batteries from cars as backups for power banks.
Mm-hmm.
And the big thing that I've noticed over the last we'll probably say a month, is energy bills have started to skyrocket.
Well, there was alluding to that too, just from all the stuff that happened at the beginning of the year, and I think prepping for this year.
Well, my question, it led me, the reason I found it so intriguing was this. What would happen if everyone went onto solar energy? Because I had two theories. My first theory is that all of the power lines would be moot.
No,
and,
obsolete. They would be archaic.
Negative.
Well, what's negative? What?
So you're talking about going off the grid. Like each house would go off the grid. You wouldn't have power. What happens when you have snow for 3 days? Or you have, extremely cloudy weather for a week?
Or you live in Portland?
Yeah, it's the power lines, and this is something it's been actively been going on as solar has been picking up, is that the electric companies are charging fees and taxes to people who have solar for line maintenance, which in a perfect world, I mean, this is me going on my little rant of things, but in a perfect world, if the power grid was, actually serviced by the government, that should be a moot issue. And, like everything, taxes should pay for it. But the thing with it is that the power grids will have to be maintained through, taxes and fees, so that even if everyone was solar, you're still going to have power plants that have to provide power during inclement weather, during the night, during,
Well, what about I know somebody who installs solar panels, and I was talking to him a little bit, and I kind of got the impression where it seems like they're working on where you have solar panels on your house, and then you can almost store it. This is what they're working on, getting like a battery where you can kind of save it and then use it for later. And he was saying his theory was sort of like, if people can just get all of their energy just from solar energy at a certain point, they're not going to be paying the power company anything. So it's like they're almost putting themselves out of business. So possibly if they're losing business, they're jacking up their rates to try to cover their costs. Any thoughts about that?
That was my theory, was that that's part of the reason why you're seeing an increase in the amount of fees that you're paying.
Supply and demand kind of thing.
But they're also getting their energy from solar. Like there's, I don't know if you've noticed, I don't know how bad it is at Denver. Thankfully, I reminded me myself of another topic I want to rant about, but there's solar plants all over, dotted all over the place in Colorado Springs. They're not big, but they're still generating power. And that power is going into the grid and being, used by the power company. Like, we don't have a lot, I don't know how it is up there, but we don't have any wind farms down here. And
Which seems silly, because Colorado seems like a windy state. It's
Yeah.
There's a lot of places where there's big gusts of wind. Seems like you'd want to harness that.
Yeah. I don't understand it either, but the thing with it is we have all of this power, and even the people that have solar panels, they're selling their power to the energy company that's excess. So even if you have a battery in your house, most people are working during the day, so their solar panels, if they're completely charging their house, they're going to be having or creating excess, which is going to go into the grid, which gets sold to the power company. The power company is going to buy it, pennies less than they're, selling it, and it just gets, redistributed around. So my thing is there is never going to not be a need for a community, at least a community power grid, if not, a state/national grid like all but Texas is on.
My next question was going to be, how long do you think it's going to be until the government says, we own the sun?
They're already trying. Well, look at Colorado. Colorado's tried to claim that they own the water that falls out of the sky.
I know, which is why I had that thought. I was like, they didn't even want you to put rain barrels up because technically they said the government owns the rain because it because it evaporates from the lakes that they own. So
what? Wait, they had PSAs for don't have a rain barrel.
Yeah, no, technically
it
was
from the government.
Yep, technically in Colorado, I don't know if it's changed though.
It changed. Wow. So people were getting like fines and tickets because they had rain barrels. They were catching rainwater and using it for whatever.
Irrigation and free natural.
Is there anything, and I may be way off base, is there anything about having barrels of water getting stagnant and then being diseases, and that's where mosquitoes and bugs and is there any, that's not legitimate.
That's every single lake and pond in Colorado that gets stagnant. Like there's a reason why Fountain smells the way that it does.
This was literally just them saying, like, look, we don't want you to capture our water because then you're not going to use water for watering your lawn, and we're not going to make money off of it.
Yep.
So
that'd be a tough rap if you ended up in jail for that. What are you looking for? Rain barrels. I was catching rain.
Well, and these past few years, because of the whole climate thing, hasn't been a good indicator. But when me and Chris were growing up, it would rain every day. Every day it would rain for, only like 20, 30 minutes, but it would rain.
It doesn't do that anymore.
No. But going back to the solar, I was thinking about it. I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me if once enough solar panels get taken away and too many people get forced out of the power industry, that you're going to start to see the government put sanctions on solar.
Florida's tried it. Because
we're having a homeless problem and we're having a housing problem. Why don't we strap solar panels on the backs of homeless and let them walk around?
See, the thing is though, even if I'm trying to, I don't know what I'm trying to do, but for Chris's point, even if every single building put solar on their house, it would not be enough to necessarily still do enough collection for the entire city.
It would make a big dent, though, because we get a lot of sunshine in Colorado. I mean, 300 days a year, it seems. It's very rarely cloudy for very long.
Yeah.
And that's the point, because imagine if you put the big buildings in downtown Denver and downtown Colorado Springs, if they lined their roofs with solar panels.
But what good would that do? They would have to line the sides of the buildings, because it's a big building. But putting a small amount of solar panels on the top of it isn't going to do shit for the entire building.
Well, isn't the point of it it's like taking a chunk? It's taking off some of the burden on the other power thing. It's not like it's 100%. It's just like, okay, now, hey, 30% is coming from solar. That's better.
Well, and
that's also the point, though, is you brought it up perfectly, Kirk, is why are the rates being jacked up if the whole point of solar is to take the burden off of the electrical grid?
It's like it seems like it's good for the environment, so you pay little. I think that's the attitude. You know what I mean? Like something is hey, we weren't stuffing our chicken in like a tiny little cage and poking him the whole time and yelling at him. So it's 75 cents more because we didn't do that to a chicken. I think that's sort of the equivalent.
Well, the thing is there's not a lot of solar panels that are up. It may seem like there is, but there's not. Like, even for Chris, like, if you wanted to go to Lowe's or whatever and get a solar kit, which I think would, last time I checked, it was like $600 for 200 or 300 megawatt. I could be pulling these numbers completely out of my ass, but it was significantly cheap to be able to buy and throw a couple panels on your house.
It seems like an initial investment up front, and then use it, and then your power bills go down. So it's in the long run, it saves you money. Is what it does, right?
So even if you didn't have batteries, you didn't have anything, you threw a panel on your roof, what's going to happen is during the day, while those panels are getting power, they're going to power your house, and then anything that's excess is just going to go back into the grid, and you're going to get credit for it. But once the sun goes down, you start using that power again. Now, I would assume that they're raising the rates. Like I said, I think it's more for the fact that we're heading into winter and they're expecting it to be cold as shit again, much like last year. And they're probably preparing for that.
I think another reason the prices went up is because everybody was working from home and on lockdown and not going anywhere. So people were just burning more energy.
Well, plus I think I don't know how warm it was up there, but there was a couple days in December where I had to turn on the air conditioning.
True that.
And, that's a big thing. Like, air conditioning during the summer is a planned thing. The electric company's going to know people are going to use their air conditioning. They're not expecting you to use air conditioning in the fall because air conditioners use a shit ton of electricity, a lot more than the heater does. Because heater runs off, methane or natural gas, not methane.
Methane.
No, methane.
That's Chris.
But
32 minutes into the first year episode.
Ba-bing. Okay, there's the first one.
So yeah, in the winter you're using more natural gas and not as much electricity. Unless, it's 70 or 80 degrees and people are turning on their AC because, the house is hot. Instead of, opening windows and shit like that, like I should have done. But, there's a level of laziness of switching a flip or flipping a switch.
I just think that the whole idea of solar, especially since we ended the last year talking about the Parker Solar Probe, I've just been into solar. I mean, I even have a solar panel set up for recharging the battery on my camper. And so,
nice.
I mean, I think it's fascinating to get solar power because it's, it's not free. You still have to pay to make it initially, but realistically, it's a cool way to restore, put energy into whatever you're trying to do. And if you follow the math will tell you how much energy you need.
And it seems like it's helping out Mother Earth. It's helping out nature. It's doing your part. It's doing something to try. Everyone's like, oh, it's getting hotter and pollution. It's like, it's every little bit helps. You know what I mean? Just like, what do you think about putting on thick socks, getting on shag carpet, and doing the electric slide? The amount of static electricity you could generate, and if we can just harness the power, come on.
It just seems a little bit. I know it's just the whole thing. We're talking about solar, but then here I am, kind of thinking it's ironic that you want to kill climate change, but you don't want to kill electric grids. It seems a little backhanded.
That's
Wait,
the thing, though.
On that.
Yeah, because you still want to have a national grid. Otherwise, you end up like Texas, where
yes,
because
I'm not saying get rid of the electric grid. I'm saying now you're going to charge people 3 times as much to use the electricity when they need it.
Because
even though for 12 hours a day you have free electricity, well, now I'm going to punish you for using that free electricity.
It's not so much punishing, because that's the thing, is you still have to maintain all of those lines. Like, what happens when a thunderstorm comes through and it pops a transformer, or some drunk takes out a junction box.
Right, somebody's going to still have to go fix that, and that's
It's okay. You still have to maintain it, and if you can't, like, the biggest thing is, I would assume, pole power was probably profitable as shit, and you remove that profitable as shit with, people have solar panels, and you're getting it from solar, because that's the other thing is, although solar panels are cheap and wind turbines are cheap or cheaper than like a coal plant, there's still a ton of maintenance that has to be done to those things. Like, you can't just throw a solar panel out in the field and be like, okay, we're good. Every once in a while you have to go out there and clean it off and, do maintenance on them and replace panels that are bad.
I'm really kind of enjoying the conversation because you took it in a completely opposite direction than I thought you were going to, which is why I like the blind react, because I wasn't expecting your point of view on this one.
Well, like I get what you mean. It's like, yes, it costing more sucks, but
it seems like an investment. It's transitioning
not
to healthier. It's like when they jack up cigarette prices. It's almost like look, you can keep using this, but you're killing yourself and everybody. I think it's sort of an equivalent of that, where it's like it's trying to nudge people. Look, it may cost you a little more, but it's better for the environment. It's better for your kids. You like your kids, right? You want to have a healthier play. Like I think that's what it sucks now. It's the opposite of American thinking of the instant gratification. You have to plan ahead and then it's worth it. And if you don't do that, then I don't think you're going to be on board.
And that could be it too. They could be raising the rates to start investing in more green energies. And I'm just going to tag this on because it was something that I saw at the end of last year. It's the reason why there's no nuclear plants. It's not because we can't get rid of the waste or that they're super... Well, it partially is that because people are fucking paranoid about, oh my god, a nuclear plant's going to blow up. No. It's that they cost a fuck ton and it takes decades before the money is made back. And that's the problem, is there's no one that wants to invest in building a plant. Because by the time the plant's built, it's going to have cost billions and billions of dollars, and it's going to take decades before...
We got to turn that profit now.
Yep.
We got to come now.
And
capitalism at its finest.
At its worst.
We're not talking
That's
about
worst.
Finest.
Like, we could have... If the push for nuclear had been, not so fear-mongering, or if, Chernobyl hadn't happened, there's a good chance we wouldn't have coal plants.
Well, and 3 Mile Island, too. I mean, that was the one that happened it wasn't as big, but yeah, there's been a couple. But
they've all been relatively, and 3 Mile Island was early on in, nuclear reactor design. Same with Chernobyl, and same with Fukushima. But that was because of a tsunami.
Right. But I think just the horror of the atomic bomb has been so ingrained in people, and then those couple, 1 or 2 missteps, I think it sticks with people. So it's a tough sell, basically. It seems like it's a tough to overcome.
Not to mention Atomic Twister. I mean...
Atomic Twister? What the hell? Is that like the Twister right hand blue, but different?
No, it was a movie they made about a nuclear plant that gets hit by a tornado, and they have to figure out how to keep it from. It was one of those dumb movies.
I'm picturing a green glowing cow.
See, that doesn't even make sense because most of the nuclear stuff is underground.
They were trying to cool it with a fire hose. It was the most ridiculous movie I've ever seen. It was so stupid.
They were blowing on it. They had a fan.
They're like, it's over. It's melting. We need to cool it down. And they're like, get the fire hose.
I'm getting lightheaded. I can't do this much longer, Sarge. Come on, keep it up, Johnson. All right.
Well, I think
so.
What we should do now.
Huh? I was going to say, before we switch to, you're going to talk about James Webb?
Well, I was going to say what we should do for the next part of the podcast is kind of go over some of the things that have happened in space over the last couple of weeks.
What you've missed.
I agree. I just want to rant about Denver because it falls into your weird little electricity thing. I was leaving work yesterday, and granted this is 12:30 at night, and I looked north. And I could clearly see the definition of the clouds above Denver because of all the light pollution.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. We got all the lights. What's up?
You're proud of your light pollution? Why are you proud of the light?
I looked over it. I don't know if it's just the first time I've ever noticed it or if it's been this bad or the clouds were low enough, but I was like, you could clearly see that it was it wasn't Monument or anything in between. I mean, it could have been Castle Rock, but just the fact that I looked north and I could see the definition of the clouds. I was like,
all right. How about this theory? You know what? Let cities be cities. It's more. It'll encourage more people to go into the wilderness to go see stars because they can't anymore.
Well, and that's kind of what I was.
Denver's got a lot of lights and people, John.
Well,
Yes,
I
there's
understand
lots of
that.
light pollution.
Like, I get it. Colorado Springs isn't any better. Like, you can go out and you can see the big stars, but anything, minor, you can't see. Like, my kids, I really want to take them out east just so that we can see the Milky Way in the summer.
Can you guys actually, the constellations? I've never seen anything. I just look to me, but I could never, those 3D photos where you unfocus your eyes, those never work for me. But
I'm
you guys
usually
actually
able
see
to
constellations?
pull
Right
out
now,
the
you
Big and
can
Little
s-
Dipper.
You can see Orion pretty well this time of year. So
It's
if
all,
you go
Denver,
out,
you
it's all
can't.
dots. They're all dots. It's like light bright, but far away. That's all I see.
well, I don't know if we can help you with that one, Kirk.
I'm constellation blind, and I'm starting a GoFundMe.
When do I get to see the sailboat?
Exactly.
The schooner.
I just want to see Orion, and I don't know what he is, but I just want to see it. Send me $75 to help me.
Yes, I will. You know what, Kirk? I will make you a map, a little map that you can use, and you'll be like, "Oh, it's." I see the dots, but
All right.
Kind
You know
of.
what? If I'm not against it, but if you can make that happen, I will be impressed. I would be amazed because I've never seen them.
well, you have to use your imagination a little bit. That's
Or
all,
an app. Or an app.
or a cell phone app.
I'm gonna fight that. I'm gonna try to do it old school. I'm not gonna try to if I use.
Well,
That'll cheapen it a little bit. You'll be like, it wasn't as good.
Well, plus-
Magellan didn't do that.
you'd have to go
He
a
didn't
couple
need that.
hours away from Denver to see anything.
Right. Definitely have to get out of the city. Just
No, you don't. I can see Orion every night. I look at it quite often.
all right. Well, challenge accepted. You know what? Look at that. Look at 2022 bringing. It's a good year because we're learning constellations.
We talk about space, but we don't know what stars are.
Well, yeah, I know the space part. It's the in between. The stars aren't the space. Space is the space.
Anyway, well, let's talk a little bit, guys, about what we missed in the couple weeks that we were gone in said space. And first off, we have the James Webb Telescope. It was successfully launched on Christmas. And so far, everything's going good. Just like anything NASA does. They talk a lot of crap about it, and then it does exactly what it's supposed to.
Yep.
Nice.
Even the thing is, there was even some people that were trying to defend it, the whole it dropped thing. And I kind of see the point of, like, it didn't exactly drop. It was more one of the connectors unhatched and caused the vibration. But it's still, I don't know.
It worked.
Well,
it held together. It did what it had
But
to
I
do.
mean, yeah, considering that it technically fell or dropped or, whatever it was, it is tomorrow. NASA's going to show a live press conference of the final arm extending out. And then
Is it
it'll
gonna-
be,
After the arm extends out, it's going to flip the bird. That's what you don't know. That's the
we
surprise.
can only hope.
So you're saying everything isn't nominal, which is, I think nominal is a very sciencey word.
Yes,
You don't hear that in
everything is nominal with the James Webb Telescope.
but is it phenomena? Ba-da-ba-ba. Is it that too? Okay.
Phenomena.
But
Like if I can work in the Muppets in space, boom. Okay, we're back to it.
so, the thing that bummed me out though is it's still got like 2 more weeks, or almost 3 weeks, even once it unfolds, before it even starts doing anything.
Well, yeah.
But essentially,
Well, you got to remember. So that's you got to factor that in. It's getting high wages.
well, I'm still just excited to see the pictures it sends back. This is the Hubble was a groundbreaking when it started. Now we're 30 years older and 30 years better in technology. So the pictures that we get should be
So the first one should be of the moon, because if it's just leaving Earth, moon will be the first big thing it'll pass.
No, it's already past the moon, Kirk.
Oh,
yeah. Or is it, John? Is it staying?
No, it's going to what? What's the?
I was gonna say
pulling up the tracker right now,
because I think it's going out to a certain distance. It's not like just going to aimlessly travel through space, but
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it has a mission. Yeah,
Hey.
I didn't just think it just.
Oh, it's going to say, sorry, Chris. I'll be back in just a second.
okay. Yeah, so
He's on telescopetracker.com, by the way. Did you hear that? That's his homepage. It's a little weird. It's a little odd. It's all right. Go with it. He likes telescopes. Nothing wrong with that.
but no, Kirk, it's not going to send pictures of the moon. It's actually looking much, much further into the theory is this is going to look into the origins of the universe.
Okay. And you're saying since Hubble, the technology's gotten so much better, you're expecting the pictures to be that much greater?
Well, yeah, because even the Hubble is taking pictures that are thousands of light years away.
I think it's still a Polaroid too. That's how old this.
Yeah, you got to shake it. Shake it.
No, you don't.
Shake it like a Polaroid.
Do you know the funny story about that? The song?
No.
Okay, so that Black Eyed Peas song, that's who it was, right? That's not the. Yeah,
No,
Black Eyed.
I don't think so. Was it?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
Well, when John comes back, he'll be the third. But anyway, the huge song and the catch, it was "Shake It Like a Polaroid Picture." Polaroid company, apparently, actually, that's not what you're supposed to do. And the company's like, actually, that smears it worsens your picture quality. So they had to release a press release going, even though the song says it, don't actually shake your Polaroid picture, which is just hilarious.
Yeah. Isn't that what everybody used to do? You just pull it out and start shaking it right away?
I don't remember. I don't think I ever had a Polaroid. I think I missed that.
Oh.
Did you not have a Polaroid?
I don't know. My dad had like one of those a video camera where he had basically it was like a VCR strapped to his shoulder, and when he would zoom in, you could hear going. Did anybody remember? And like so many home movies is just like, oh, Dad forgot to turn off the camera, so it's just like walking shoe, hairy leg, lens cap, hairy leg. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
See, we didn't have video camera like that.
No, we only had like Polaroids and stuff like that.
Well, in defense, our mom was very, very pro photography, so she had like high-end Canon cameras and stuff like that.
Those are fun for like nature pictures or stuff like that.
Yeah, she had photo albums full of just pictures and stuff.
Nice.
So I distinctly remember looking through negatives. I still have a bunch of negatives. But I don't know what the context of this was, but yeah, we were just kind of on the edge of like the disposable cameras, and then I had a digital.
But the Polaroid picture, shake it like a Polaroid picture. That was Black Eyed Peas, right?
Yeah.
Can we get? Okay, good. I wasn't thinking of the restaurant.
No.
Okay, good. So they're 2 against 3. I was right.
So the next thing, John, I know we talked about it while you were gone, but the next thing is, you guys heard about the uncontrollable Russian rocket that was going to crash into the.
Was that the one they were going to explode or blow up, or is it a different one?
No, it was flying through the. It disconnected and it was wildly falling back to Earth. They didn't know where it was going to land.
Oh, okay. Did they figure it out?
Yeah, it landed today. In the Pacific. It was in the Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
See, this all just seems like Russia's purposely, like, I know the U.S. isn't the greatest of superpowers, but people still think Russia is. It's like,
Well, they were legit worried that it was going to crash like into There was a point where they thought it might hit the East Coast, like the far end of the East Coast, and then
That's all right. SpaceX already did that.
Oh.
My money was on. It was actually going to land. It was going to hit Screech. That was my money, but did not happen.
Do you not remember that?
No.
Or one of the Falcons, the upper stages. What's the upper stage? Had to have been the upper stage. Hit in Washington.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, this one happened to land harmlessly out in a populated part of the sea in,
which is like
I think it was
70% of the planet.
Yeah, just like outside of French Polynesia or something like that. So didn't hurt anybody, but it was worth a story for a little while. You know,
actually, to stay with the theme of 2021, it actually. So it did have.
What
some
was
damage.
that?
Yeah, you cut out a little bit, Kirk.
It did. It actually killed some dolphins. So once again, 2021, one more kick on the way out.
I suppose it's possible.
Except it landed today. That would be.
Those would be some unlucky dolphins. I'd hope not.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank, what's that? Oh, I don't know. Oh.
See, but that's the plot of like one of my favorite shows.
Dolphins getting hit? But
no.
It's got to be now.
Dead Like Me. The girl that got hit in the face with a toilet seat and then becomes a Grim Reaper.
Seems like a good,
Sounds different at least.
yeah.
A for originality.
It was late or early 2000s HBO.
Or I think it was HBO.
So we had the Uncontrollable rocket. We had the James Webb.
Starlink launched yesterday, but that's every day.
Yeah, and then the SN, was it 20?
Yeah, it's
They successfully static fired it like twice already, so they're getting ready to launch that thing up there.
They're getting impatient for it to fly. I'm getting impatient. I really want to see that stupid thing launch. I'm kind of hoping it explodes, but, you know.
The next one's going to be the actual orbital
test,
it's
the orbital test. Yep.
Which means, Kirk, it's the Starship, so it's the really big rocket, and they're going to try and send it actually into orbit this time.
Okay, nice. And yeah, one more update. Bezos is still a dick.
Yes.
Okay, so
that hasn't changed.
That is still held true. Rocks. You know what? If all else fails, we can always cling to that as a people.
And at least
shit, that's right. I was going to do the time of the year thing.
And at least in 2021, the Fuzed Relativity podcast shined a huge spotlight on how much of a dick Jeff Bezos actually is.
A lot of people were on the fence, and they heard us, and like, you know what?
His penis-shaped rocket be damned. He's a dick.
Honestly, but the t-shirt needs to, like, every time I wear that damn t-shirt, a dozen people they try to take the t-shirt off of me. I'm like, no, it's my t-shirt. Like, literally, like that.
Yeah.
Such a good shirt.
We're still working on it, Kirk. Just not there yet.
All right. So are we caught up on space? So is that the recap?
I think that's about it. I'm just doing the little mental gymnastics that I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything.
All right. Stick the landing. Use the chalk. Chalk it up. No, nothing. All right.
Gymnastics. I gotcha. Pole vault.
If you had to do one gymnastic event, what do you think you could do? And you can't say floor dance. That doesn't count.
Oh, is that the one with the ribbon? I could totally do that.
Yeah, no, you can't. We'll fire it up. No. Could you bounce over the pommel horse, or could you do? I think the rings. I hated pull-ups, so I think I would not. The rings would be my answer.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody needs to see me do gymnastics. That's not good for anyone.
Okay. Should we go? Is it time to go to Kirk's Corner then?
Yes.
We'll erase that mental picture.
Kirk's Corner, first one of 2022.
What? Oh, hey, they changed the door. The door made a different noise.
Hey, champagne. Happy New Year's, gentlemen. 2022.
I just realized that the color didn't transfer. That's supposed to be gold, not white.
What, the glasses?
No, the top of the champagne.
Oh, the band, like the foil part.
Yeah.
You get the idea.
All
It's
right, no,
cool.
I'm leaving. No, no jokes. This-
I just realized how animal themed this is becoming. This cat, dog, fly, geese.
Waffle, potato, box. It's this is sort of the. If this makes sense to you, you should really talk to somebody. Why? I thought might as well just kick it off with a the comedian's dozen. Might as well the first 12 jokes and a couple lists of the new year. You guys ready for some?
Been waiting 2 weeks, Kirk.
I've been writing jokes. That's all I've been doing. Here's the first one. Every Marine's Wi-Fi password is Semper Wi-Fi. Semper. I think that's why we're getting hacked so damn much. Because Russia can guess that pretty easy. So if they would just, come on, Marines, let's, for safety, pick a different one. Semper Wi-Fi 2. No. Okay. All right. The next one. Attic of your phone.
Oh, you cut off on that one, Kirk.
Oh, okay. The iCloud has become the attic of your phone. Do you guys remember attics? We were just talking about pictures. Okay. How about this? 93% of lowriders, guys that have lowriders, grew up without a high chair. So it went deep with them. Started young. All right. How about hashtag black lights don't matter? They're stupid. This one, oh yeah, you guys have children. A baby boom sounds worse than. I mean, when you think about it, a baby exploding, that's horrible. But it's just it's just a lot of babies, which could be a problem. But at least they're not exploding, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys have houses. The damn teenagers. The teenagers eggoed my house. But the jokes on them, I used the Egos as insulation and lowered my heating bill by 14%. So thank you, damn teenagers. They actually tied in with the heat. I didn't even. Man, look at this. That worked out perfectly. Okay, this one's a little dark, but what year do you think Dino from the Flintstones was pumped into someone's gas tank? He was a dinosaur. It was a long time ago. Facts are, grow up. That's what I'm saying. Somebody super premiumed Dino. Okay. All right, here's a baseball one. Baseball one for Chris here. All right, when Cal Ripken's brother, Billy, took a game off, whoa, he never heard of it. Holy crap, that big brother did not like that. All right.
Blacker.
Cal Ripken played every game. That was explained for the non. All right, how about this one? My farmer, and he gave me depressants. But it was totally my fault. I didn't deserve any better. I suck. No? Okay. All right, next one. Here's a music one. If she had legs and didn't know how to use them, totally different song.
Much different.
Much funnier video. Just a lady's like, I don't know how to walk. Down, flaps. Okay, so ZZ Top could have gone a different way.
Yes.
What? Oh, okay. Here's one. Here's a space joke. This is what do you think about this, John? Black holes aren't matter. Da boom. Okay. Are not right? It's emptiness. Okay. See, I think that's factually true and funny. That's what infotainment, as Letterman would say. Okay, got two more, and then we're to the list. So just two. Okay, so shooting stars, great. Now even our stars have guns. Enough with all right. And here's page 72 of Amazon Warehouse Employee Handbook. Okay, so this is Employee Handbook from Amazon Warehouse. If you drop dead at work, we will give you the rest of the week off. Just notify HR before you do. That was from Amazon Warehouse. Ripped from the pages. Okay. So we're going for the list. It's more of a long joke. But getting pie-eyed is fine. If you want to get pie-eyed, that's fine. But getting cow-pied, that is not. Hashtag passed out in a field. Hashtag got shit on by a cow. Okay. And then I go, okay, here's the last one. These are names for when police officers retire. These are things you can call them because you can no longer call them police officers or cops. So names for retired police officers. The first one is No Mo Po Po. Okay, that's what you call them. Next one is ex-cop communicated. Ex-cop communicated. And then the last one is we got an officer down to Boca Raton. Okay, those are the lists. So any discussion points, any things you fisticuffs?
No, I'm trying to decide on how to make a shirt about Dino in the gas tank. That's funny.
It is.
Well, actually, there's that company like Sinclair Gas. Like there's big. I mean, so it's close, but there's green. That was purple. I think we'd be fine. Yeah, but a little Dino when your car backfires, it goes. Does subpar Dino impression. I apologize.
Well, you're not a dinosaur dog, so it's okay.
You know, that's the nicest thing you've said to me. You are not a dinosaur dog. Oh, I got emotional over that. Okay.
All right, John, segue us back.
Skedaddle, yes. Jigga who, jigga what? Oh my God, it made a different sound when we went through.
All right, well, now that we're back in the podcast booth in space, let's go over to off topic. And I am going to start because I feel like it's a little off topic and crazy. Did you guys see the CNN coverage of New Year's Eve?
No.
I saw a little clip of Andy Cohen, and he was. I just saw. I mean, he was flushed, and like I heard him talk about later. He defended it, saying they told me to have fun, and it's New Year's, so yeah, I'm gonna. It's like I don't know, like you're this different human being, android robot. You're not gonna drink on New Year's or something, and yeah, I don't know. But yes, I saw that.
Oh man, it was so incredibly crazy. Like, this is American news, and this guy is him. That was just the one, but they were getting hammered.
So it wasn't just
camera.
him. You're saying it was a couple of people too.
Yeah, it was couples of people like just getting hammered on national television, which I thought was poor taste. And then like whoever was running the Twitter feed for CNN was probably hammered too, because they were letting all of these.
They were getting pranked. Yeah, they're getting with the fake names and the goofy names.
Yeah, so they were like getting Bart Simpson. It was Bend Over and all these different funny names of people that they were going through, and I was like, how do you let this happen, CNN? Other than the captain's drunk, he's not driving. Pretty
much, I think that's what it's just like. It's the news doesn't have an integrity anymore.
Everyone's cut drunk out again.
Oh damn it! But it's New Year's. Everyone's drunk. Like it's just sort of like it's a TV show. It's not news anymore.
Yeah, it was hard to watch, but it was comical as well. So I just wanted to bring that up because I got such a kick out of it.
Well, good.
And felt bad for CNN.
You got to watch drunk people from the comfort of your home and not at a super spreader. So well done. You still got to see the dumb drunk people from the comfort of your Barca lounger.
Yes.
I imagine you have a Barca lounger.
Sure.
Why not?
What do you got, Kirk?
Okay, mine is it's way off topic because it's just an idea I had. My thought is I think aging would be better if it wasn't in numeric order. Do you get my drift? Like it's like Benjamin Buttons, but it's random. So it's like happy 3rd birthday, you're 51. I hope you get that promotion and your prostate checks out. So just because I think part of the boringness of aging is you don't see the changes, but it's like, if you go from like 7 to 17 to 40, I don't know. That's way off topic. It was a random idea, but if you guys play along, come on. Age, bounce around, lottery, pinball. Oh, now you're 47. Now you're back to 5.
That's too much chaos for me. I can't handle it.
Yeah, that's true. You like your
Yeah, I would not. Yeah, no, thank you.
Right.
John?
And Space Guy
you
John
got?
is not even, he's not even going to dignify that with.
No, so my off topic for this week is they want to send tardigrades to different solar systems or planets or star systems or
Tardigrades? It's
water
Yeah,
bears.
Water bears. They're like these little microscopic creatures that are apparently they can be quantum entangled. I don't know. I've seen a lot of
sort of
I've
like
seen-
what, forms of life that could latch on or something.
No,
Live in inclement. I don't know.
No, they can essentially they can kill themselves so that they basically go into a non-living state to endure any kind of inhospitable conditions, and then once things become hospitable, they can sprout back to life.
They put themselves in a little hibernation coma,
Yeah.
and they come back to life when it's better.
They can survive like
Okay.
almost absolute zero. Like I don't think high temperature so much, but the whole thing was they want to put these little tardigrades in like essentially. I could have been misinterpreting this, but like water droplets, and then shoot lasers at them, like we talked about in the last episode, and then fire them off. We could become the. This could be how life started on Earth. Is another planet decided, hey, we're going to shoot these things at just everywhere, and we could potentially seed life throughout the galaxy with water bears. It's crazy.
Duh, water bears. Duh. All right.
Coach Mike Ditka up there.
Yep. Giving orders. All right, you little weird worm things. You got to hit them hard, hit them high, hit them low.
They are weird too because they have 6 legs.
Yeah, Kirk, you'll have to look it up. Look them up the next time you get a chance. Look up tardigrades. They're pretty. They're funny looking little things.
Okay.
Well, gentlemen,
that's not going to put me on some weird list. is it?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, let's wrap it up. Hey, episode 40.
Yeah, we got episode 43. Yeah, 43. We made it through. Brand new year, 2022. Glad to be back. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with us tonight. We are pushing up on that 1 year mark. We're getting close. Hopefully, we'll have something good planned for that because pretty sure it's next month. So
Yeah. Not too shabby, for the first out of the gates. Par, John, you killed it. Chris, you were Chris. But anyway, 2022 gonna be better. Good, right? Everybody,
Hopefully,
go team.
yes.
Team go.
Yes.
Come on, 2020. Come on, everybody. Let's rally the troops here. You know what's out this year? Insurrection. Okay, hey, okay, let's.
well, as always, thanks everybody again for catching up with this week. We were gone for 2 weeks, and I was really happy to get back to it because I like doing it. So, for me, John, and Kirk, everybody have a great evening. We look forward to seeing you next week. Go boldly, friends.